Hey everybody, welcome to today's video. A little bit late than I normally posted, but we're going to do a little video about carving, and I'm just going to show you kind of how I would prepare a pattern like this and how I'd carve it. Here's just a simple pattern I drew. You can download it down below and get you a PDF version of it. It's all free and clear. You don't have to enter your email or nothing. Let me get it all lined up here. But I'm gonna start. I got my leather wet. I'm just gonna trace it off with this ink pen here. Just gonna go around the whole pattern. Now, see here in just a second. Got it all traced on there. Next, just gonna take my swivel knife and start cutting everything in. And on these lines, they start pretty deep, and then I taper them out so that the line barely ends. Same thing on all these longer lines. Start them pretty deep. I'm sure you've all heard this before. And then just taper down as your cut comes to a stop. And that just prevents any abrupt stoppages. Makes everything flow nicer. So I'm just going to finish cutting all these lines, and I'll catch back up with you just in a minute here. So I got everything cut out here. First stamp I'm going to use is this little flower center. Just kind of, I guess, shoot, I don't need to do it on the leather. You'll see it here in just a second. Trying to figure out a good way to do this around the camera. But you just place your flower center exactly where you'd imagine. Just give it a few whacks until she's buried in there. Next tool I use, God, I can't even, is this little flower center shading tool. Berry King sells these. And all I do on that is it's got that rounded end on it, and I touch it right up next to the flower center without going in there, and just tap it and run it out and kind of tilt it at the same time so that it tapers out. It starts pretty coarse and then tapers out, and just go around the whole flower like that. Start hard and just taper her down. And you can also see on this how this petal kind of rolls this way. It's got the long part right here and shorter here on this other side. So I roll that tool out in the direction of the flow of the flower petal. Same thing over here. I brought it down, this one as well. That just keeps everything consistent in your pattern, establishes movement. So got that flower all center shaded in. Next tool I'm going to use is this thumbprint. And what I'm going to do on that is put whatever end fits. You have a small end and a big end on there. And whichever end fits best in my flower petals or my vines, that's the one I use. On this smaller flower, it turns out to be the smaller end. So same thing. Gosh. Tilt that thing up, start hard, taper it out. And just do that in all these little scallops of this flower. And the best way I found when I was starting off, what I'd do, I'd just get me the same pattern and just try carving that thing every day and kind of recognize what you need to work on and working on it. And before too long, you can see a big difference between your first day and your 10th day, you know. It doesn't take long once you kind of get the hang of things. It's just one of those things, the more you put into it, the easier, the better the outcome. And then when I'm doing these vines here, I'm going to swap to that bigger end on some of these. And same thing. Start shading it pretty hard and then just taper it out. I think on this one here, I'm going to use that smaller end. Same with that one. Now I'm just going to leave that little scroll alone for now. And then this is the stem of the flower, so I'm not going to put any shading on there either. So the next tool I'm going to use is my beveler. And I always start with my biggest bevelers first. Cover as much ground as you can, as quickly as you can. So all these long flat vines, I'm going to hit with the beveler. And the goal of your beveler right now is just to run it as smooth as you can. Just get the rhythm down. And once you get that rhythm down, you'll get the speed. So I'm going to get everything I can with this big beveler, and then I'm going to shrink down to a smaller one. Flip her around. Get that other side as well. One thing you can do on your beveler, when I'm not right now, but if your leather's walking around on you, see how it's kind of knocking me out of that line? You can put a little weight on it, and that'll hold it in place and make your life a lot easier. Let's get these little spots here. And then I can also get all my longer sections of my flower, the parts that are coming towards the center. Get those real quick as well. And that's about all I can get with that larger beveler. I'm going to shrink down to this little guy right here. And I'm going to go around all these flower petals with it. Get the tops of them. You can see when I'm going around all these little tight turns, I'm just kind of rolling the tool in my hands, moving my thumb out, just spinning it around as I go. The hammering shouldn't change. Just try to keep it nice and consistent. Get this one while I got my leather spun. One little spot left on this flower. I can come back to these scroll here, finish it up. And I got one more spot on this one vine here. And there's what we look like after we got the beveling done. Next, what I'll generally do is I'll take this, it's a stop here. This one has two ends on it. Tandy makes some that work pretty darn good, but that's what they look like. And I put these deals right where those petals, right in there, right where the petal meets up with the flower center. It just kind of splits everything up and gives it a more defined look. I like the way they look. But you can see that kind of adds to your flower quite a bit. Makes it look a little bit more natural, I guess, even though it doesn't look natural. I've got this small veiner. And what I'm going to do with it, this little scroll I got here, I'm just going to tip it up on its side and run it up the spine of this scroll. Gonna go all the way around, and as I'm coming around it, I'm turning my tool as well. That's kind of what we have on that. Then after I get that stuff done, I guess I could take this little meal foot, and where you get a bunch of lines coming together, you might stick one of these in there, or a few of them. You just kind of hit it harder, and just like everything we've been doing, just taper it off. It just kind of helps break up all those lines we got coming into one spot. But after this is where I come back with my swivel knife, and then I'll make my decorative cuts. And since we got that flower center shader that's so coarse, don't add too many cuts, just a few. Just kind of one in each of the petals. You can get going too much and get everything just a little too busy, so I think it's better just to leave it a little bit on the simple side. Just come in with a cut. Just got out of frame there. Then on these vines, what I'll do, start in the top there, do a long flowing cut coming out, then a longer one along the top, and you're really just following the lines that you've already got there. Then on these scrolls, I'll start at the very end, and just like I said earlier, try to make a nice circular motion coming out of there. I'll put a little cap on the top of it, and then start just a little bit above that line that you just made, and bring another one and come out towards the spine and kind of cap that off. Same thing. There we go, kind of got some cuts in there. Now it's time for the backgrounding. I'm just going to use this little bar grounder. It's like a 35. Yep, 35. And in all of our little background spots, we're just going to put that in there. And we're just going to wave it out. You don't want to overlap any of your carving. You want to get it right up to the cut line that you made with your swivel knife. And you're fanning it down as well, because most of your little background spots that you have there, they're triangle shaped. So I'll just start like that, and then fan it out. And that covers everything up. You can go up in all your tips of your petals here where they meet, and just fan that out. That helps clean up also if you have any little spots where you overrun your tool or something there. But that's our little pattern that we came up with. And like I said, if you can practice this thing every day, you're going to notice difference. Label each one, day 1, day 2, day 3, and you'll be seeing difference. And whenever you start one, follow through with it, finish it up, work on all your tools. You'll see where you need work. If you see an area that you need work in, practice it a little bit more, but just keep going with it. Thanks for watching. Like I said, this pattern is down below, and this is part 2 of the learning to carve. If you missed part 1, look it up and you'll find that. And it's a little simpler pattern, kind of talk a little bit more about tool use as well. So check that out. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you don't mind. Thanks a bunch.